Hey Mecca, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing great.
Good.
Thank you for asking.
Thanks for coming in today. So, what would you like to talk about?
Well, I guess I could talk about my relationship.
Okay. Tell me about that. Who is it with?
Well, my boyfriend.
Okay.
We're going into 3 years now, roughly. And I say roughly because there's a certain point when he said it doesn't count, but I actually counted. So 3 years roughly, maybe 4.
Okay.
So just kind of talk about it and how some issues I think that I want to kind of talk through.
Okay. Well, what's seems to be weighing on you right now?
Well, so there's a couple of things. So for one, like I was saying, we're going to 3 years, and I feel like after 3 years there should be some kind of like definite commit. I mean, there's a commitment there because we've been dating, but I'm kind of feeling the pressure from like my religious leaders. I mean, yes, and then like my family and different things about marriage proposals and where you should be and what's right and what's not right. So, kind of feeling that pressure now,
Okay.
and it's making me feel like I know what's right, but I'm kind of compromising in a sense. To kind of, I guess, not just but I am compromising, but I'm waiting, trying to be patient too. I don't want to be too aggressive.
So you say you know what's right. What is right to you?
Well, what's right to me is after, I think, okay, so originally, before I, started like really getting serious about my relationship with, so I'm a Christian, and in my relationship with Christ, my pastor really drives home on, controlling your flesh and not being able to, do things because you'll be tempted, so I feel like after 3 years, we should go ahead and at least have some kind of, proposal or something so that I can see that it's definite. And I just want us to be on the same page about that. So after 3 years, I feel like there should be some, engagement. And I feel kind of bad because we've been dating 3 years, and the more I hear, well, there's no way you can date somebody for 5 years, and you can tell me that you're not doing X, Y, Z, and E, F, G. It's gonna happen, that type of thing. So then my conscience comes in like, oh God, please help me, that type of thing. So it's like, how do you deal with that? And it's really a struggle because I want to do what's right. At the same time, I don't want to break up with him just because I feel like, okay, it'd be better off for both of us. We won't get condemned if we, just be friends and that type of thing. So
it sounds like you're saying there's a lot of outside pressure from, people maybe at your church and family, and then there's also internal pressure with yourself.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
What does your boyfriend think about this? Have you guys had a conversation about where you're at right now?
Well, it's like we had these implied conversations, not like, I'm gonna marry you. We just have like conversations. And I'll say something like, oh, I'm gonna have 6 kids, and I'm gonna be this great mom and all this. He'll say, yeah, my kids aren't gonna do this stuff, and my kids. Now I don't know about yours, that type of thing. So I'm like, okay, I get it. You're trying to tell me, yeah. And then there's other instances like he'll say, well, or I'll say, well, I want to move. Like one day I just said, oh, I'm going to move. I want to travel. I want to do this and I want to do that. I'm young. I don't have anything holding me back type thing. He'll say, well, I don't want to move and I don't want to travel. That costs money and you need money. And you got to think about you got to start planning for the future now. And I'm like, well, I am planning for my future. This is what I want, that type of thing. So I try to, I guess I do things like that, say things like this to see, if we're on the same page. But at the same time, it's not like, okay, I'm going to marry you. It's kind of like I know it, but it's just not said, and we're not making the steps to get to that point. At least I don't feel.
But you're not sure exactly how he's feeling for certain.
Well, I feel like he wants to marry me, but I think there are some underlying trust issues with past stuff, and just maybe being a little bit of, I don't want to say self-conscious, but maybe being a little, having a little self-esteem maybe, and then me being kind of carefree, like I let stuff that's in the past be in the past, and I like to move forward. I'm that type of person that's proactive, and I just don't think he has really grasped that yet.
So it sounds like, is he taking things that maybe happened during, I know you said earlier, kind of a break, maybe not a break. So is he still harboring some of the things that happened back during that time?
I honestly feel like yes.
Okay.
I actually even had a conversation with him maybe a weekend ago, and I said, well, do you really trust me? I got the nerve to ask him because a lot of the times when I open up the floor to have these conversations, no matter how right I know I am, at the end of the conversation I feel like, oh my God, why did I say that? I'm such a jerk. Man, he's thinking about all this stuff, and I feel like it's my fault, like I'm wrong. And then I had to realize, like, no, you have to stand your ground. I'm right. You need to be on the same page with me, So, yeah, I feel like, there is a trust issue with things in the past.
Okay. And is the trust issue just on his side, or is it on your side as well?
Well, before it was not. It was probably just him trusting me, and I've gotten better. And I guess it's feeling like in the past I wanted to gain his trust, and I feel like I should have done that at this point. And I feel like maybe there's different trust levels. I'm trying to figure out. Well, I feel like you may trust me to a certain extent, but then on the other hand, and the whole thing about the trust is I feel like that's probably what's hindering us from going to the point of proposal to marriage, things where I feel like we should be at. But I feel like it's kind of like I'm kind of cheating myself, because you want to have these titles and have these things like, okay, we're married, like you want to kind of have some kind of control in how I spend and how I do this. But I don't feel like, even though you've helped me a lot, I don't feel like that's really, own up to it. You want to wear the hat, you have to do all the things that come with it. So that's what I meant. And I'm just, I'm kind of just, I feel a lot of times like I don't try not to let it stress me out, but it's like hanging, hovering. And then every time we go to a wedding, and this summer it's been like 3 of his best friends got married, and then an older lady at my church got married again. I'm like, and everybody's at the table like, and I'm like, and I don't know if he's getting that kind of pressure too, but everybody, all the mothers in the church, and everybody's like, are you and AJ doing okay? Because you can tell me if you sure? I'm like, if I go to the altar and pray too long or something, I think they feel like something's going. So I guess I'm like, okay, maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe, I don't know.
So let's go back a little bit with your boyfriend, and I know you kind of touched a little bit about your religion and how that's very important to you.
Right.
Does he have the same thoughts about that as well?
Well, I would hope so, but sometimes it doesn't seem like it. I know he's a Christian, but I guess we're at different points, at different levels, and that is understandable. So sometimes I feel like I'm almost afraid sometimes to think about, like, what if I go to a different level and then I kind of leave him out there, because sometimes, I may have to do that, like in Christianity, you can't, it's my belief that you can't just stagnate yourself for somebody else. You kind of have to save yourself type thing. And I'm at a point where I want to progress and not stay the same. And I want him to come with me, but some things, and I know you have to be patient, because somebody was patient with me. He's been very patient with me, but I feel like I don't want to jeopardize my soul and my sanity for doing, some of the things, or holding some things that I don't necessarily agree with to satisfy him, or just to savor our relationship. So,
yeah. So a lot's on your mind. So how, can you touched a little bit also about how people perceive your relationship. Oh, they can't be not doing this or not doing that affect the relationship as well, on top of maybe his trust issues?
Well, I think